Hey, we welcome in one of the Orioles' young up-and-coming prospects. Gunnar Henderson was drafted in the second round last year by the Birds, went to the Gulf Coast League, and he and the team had a really good summer there last year, and he joins us now. And Gunnar, good afternoon, man. Thanks for doing this.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
So you're in Alabama. Of course, you went to Morgan Academy. And the fans probably know you were both the player of the year in both baseball and basketball. That's quite a 1-2 punch there. And then, of course, you signed with the Orioles. So take me back a few years, maybe early in your high school days. Did you know it was going to be baseball for you down the road?
Yes, sir. Even before that, back when I was a little kid, that's all I told my dad and anybody else that would ask what I wanted to do when I got older. That's all I would say is play baseball. And just being able to do that now it's humbling. And then hopefully being able to play it for a lot of more years. And
So being very good at both sports, what put baseball ahead for you?
it's just always been my first love. I mean, I've enjoyed basketball and football, but I've baseball's just always been the one that stuck with me, and I've always loved it more than any other one.
What is the process like in the last month or two leading up to the draft? I mean, are you barraged by scouts? Are you hearing from people all the time? I mean, what's that like to try to play good baseball and this incredible event in your life is approaching?
Yes, sir. Well, actually, my high school coach, he took a lot of weight off my shoulders because he said he just told every one of them to call him, and then he would relay some information to me. So he took a lot of weight off my shoulders, and I couldn't thank him enough. But it wasn't too crazy. Just kind of let things work out themselves. But draft night, I guess that pulled its weight because it was a crazy night.
What was it like?
It was crazy just from all the scouts saying where I should go and where I should end up, and then dropping to the second round, which it was a blessing in disguise because I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. But I didn't figure I'd go there, but now that I'm here, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
And so where were the scouts telling you? Were you hearing all kinds of things about where you could be selected?
Yes, sir. I was here in early to middle first round, and then middle to late. So I just figured somewhere in the middle right there. And when it didn't happen, we were all just thinking we were going to Auburn, and then the Orioles came along and had a great offer. So glad I accepted it.
They are too, by the way. Number 42 overall, and you guys took care of the business and all that. So that night, what is it like as picks are going off the board and it's not you? I mean, in one way, you know your name's coming somewhere, but you're kind of waiting right now.
Yeah, sir. It was crazy, but it was still pretty cool to see all the people I played with this summer and that I've got to know all them going in front of me. It was still pretty cool to see them go, but now that uh, I'm here, I mean, I want to go and prove everybody wrong, but I got a little chip on the shoulder, so got something in my corner to help me motivate me to do better.
42 is pretty good, but still you got a little motivation because you could have gone higher.
Yes, sir.
So, Gunnar, before we talk about last summer in the Gulf Coast League, how's it going for you now? I mean, you can't be with your teammates. You can't be with your coaches. You can't be in Sarasota. How are you trying to stay ready, stay active, stay sharp?
Yes, sir. Well, just working out and the conditioning. The Orioles have us on a program on the Bridge Striker app. They send it. They have it to us for people that have a gym or don't have a gym, and they have us on a conditioning program as well. So, been doing that and just hitting in my garage. And luckily, we have the baseball field behind my house, so I can go out there and take some ground balls or do whatever I need to out there. But I just can't hit out there. The fence is a little too short. It's been there since Little League days. So.
Not big enough to hold you right now.
No, sir. And lose a lot of the baseballs. The fence has got big old squares in it, so they just go right through it back into the pasture.
Your dad built the field back there, didn't he?
Yes, sir, he did.
When did that happen?
Oh, I think I was probably 5 or 6, I would say. my brother was starting his travel ball, so he got that, and we'd always practice for a city league there, and then ended up practicing my travel ball team when I was 7 or 8.
So that's great for you. You go out there and do a lot of things. You can't take a full BP or anything, but you
No,
can do a
sir.
lot of things that you might normally be doing.
Yes, sir.
Pretty cool. So let's fast forward to the draft. The Orioles select you. You sign in late June. Your first game, I notice, is July 11th. Now, I'm covering this all these years. I'm familiar with that 2 or 3 week gap, a so-called, quote, orientation. They send you to Florida. You got to get your physical. You learn the ropes and so forth.
Yes,
What
sir.
happens in those 2 or 3 weeks leading up to you playing in your first game?
Well, me, I was ready to go out the gate because, I mean, whenever I get the opportunity to play somewhere, I'm ready to go play. But they wanted to just take it slow. So Adley and I, we would, whenever he got there, we would just go take BP, ground balls, and hit BP on the field and stuff, just get warmed up. And then we go out there, and they let us work out. And that was pretty much what we do to call it a day. Did that for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then they finally let us go play, and I was about ready to burst out the gate.
Yeah, by then you're ready to get in the game. And you mentioned Adley, and of course he's taken number 1 by the Orioles. You're taking second round. I mean, there's a link for life for you two. What was it like getting to know each other?
That was pretty cool. He's a great guy. I mean, just from the moment we met when we were first roommates, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. It was great to get to know him and then just get to play alongside him for a few games in the Gulf Coast League, and then hopefully get to play with him every day in the big leagues.
Talking with Oriole prospect Gunnar Henderson here today. And Gunnar, this happened countless times I've seen it in my life where an amateur player, whether it's high school or college, has huge statistics, and you hit over 500 in high school. And then you start your pro career, and I looked at the first 4 games, it's 2 for 16. Now, was that a culture shock for you? You finished big, by the way. You're hitting nearly 300 the last few weeks, and I think the Orioles are delighted with your overall season. But you would not be the first, in fact, you're far from, who maybe those first few games didn't post the stats they're used to their whole life.
Yeah, sir. It was definitely a big switch. I mean, the past summer definitely helped me out going on the circuit of all the showcases and the events, just being able to face pitchers like that went high in the draft, and especially in pro ball where you face that every single pitcher, it helped a little bit. But then just getting into the rhythm of facing that and then get my timing down, it helped a lot whenever I started seeing the pitching better.
What is the difference for a player? Is it velocity? Is it the fact these guys maybe can throw 3 or 4 pitches where not everyone in high school could? I mean, what makes it so hard for any player? I mean, you're elite when you can make that leap.
Yes, sir. Well, the pitches they throw definitely tie in, but I think it's just like high school. You run into 1, maybe 2 good arms on a team. Maybe 2 or 3 teams per year have that, unless you're playing at these big high schools. But just having to bear down every at bat, because sometimes, like in high school, you can run into a long group of pitchers that really don't have any good off speed, or when they do, they'll leave one over the middle. But in pro ball, they don't mess up very often. And when you do, you got to capitalize. But in high school, they'll mess up more times, so you'll have a second chance. But here, you pretty much got one, and if you don't capitalize, then they're about to sit you down, or you're about to ground out or something, or get yourself out.
So your stats definitely got better. It looked like you got better just looking at the stat sheet. Did you, and how did you get better from maybe that first game through the end?
Yes, sir. Well, definitely I can remember it. My timing wasn't very well. My foot wouldn't ever get down. It would be late, and I'd be starting my swing while my foot's up in the air. So I worked with the coaches down there and worked on a better timing mechanism and got my foot down early, and then started hitting the ball pretty well.
Who helped you a lot on the coaching staff?
I worked with Colin Woody pretty good bit, and then old Millsy, he helped me a pretty good bit. I love working with Millsy. And he just retired, but old Milt May, he worked with me a lot.
That's some experience there, a young kid
Oh,
and
yes,
two
sir.
two very wise, experienced guys. And you mentioned Alan Mills. Oriole fans know him for a long time, the manager of that team. What was it like playing for him?
Oh, I love playing for him. It's probably my I would trade anything for him. He's definitely by far my favorite. He always cracks up with Daryl and I. He always gets on to us because we ended up going up there on an off day one time, and he never lets us hear the end of that. So it's just fun being there with him.
Or you showed up to the field one day and didn't have a game?
Well, it was an off day, and Daryl and I were just wanting to get some cuts in the cage, but they wouldn't let us go there without a coach. But we didn't know that at the time, so I guess that's rookies learning.
Hey, it shows how much you wanted to work.
Yes, sir.
So Millsy's a great guy. And that team, by the way, went 38-15. And sadly, the weather, the hurricane, did not allow the playoffs to go on in the Gulf Coast League, where maybe you guys win a championship. What made that team so good?
We had some great experience on there, and our pitching staff was very well rounded. They would always put us in a good position to win, and we'd always put some runs together. We'd give the pitchers a little cushion, and everybody was pretty defensively sound, so it all just made a great team together, and we all had pretty good chemistry.
So Gunnar, obviously the goal for you and the Orioles is to get you from the Gulf Coast League all the way to Baltimore. There are a lot of stops in between, a lot of experiences you're going to have. What do you think will be big for you to learn, grow, and develop as a player, working your way up?
I think developing, just finding the routine that'll stick with you through every level, because I developed one for the Gulf Coast League, and then hopefully when I move up, just being able to develop one quick and then adjust to the pitching, just being smart and not chasing everything. And I feel like I'll put myself in a great position to move up pretty quick.
And so how do you balance the patience that's needed too? I mean, you want to be in the big leagues tomorrow if you could, who wouldn't? But you also know there's a lot of experiences you're going to have to go through.
Yes, sir. Well, being young definitely ties into it, because, I mean, I understand that I have a few more years, but at the same time, that's not really something I want to lean back on, because myself, I'm probably the most competitive person I can think of, and I'm wanting to get there as fast as I can. So, I mean, I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can at everything to get there as soon as I can. But I know there's a process, and I'll definitely stick to it. But I'm trying to get there as quick as I can and just play as hard as I can and let guys take care of the rest.
Scouts have talked about the potential for, power is really good for you. You can grow into some power as you get more experience and even maybe a little bigger. The big arm for the left side of the infield. I mean, are that your main two tools you think that can carry you? What else would you like to keep going?
Yes, sir. And then I feel like I have sneaky quickness for people that think are as tall as I am, that I won't be able to get to some balls. I feel like I can keep up with pretty much anybody, because, I mean, I've played football, basketball, and they've all helped me be more lateral quick. And then I work on it a lot with my trainer back home. So I just feel like that'll tie into it as well. And I can run pretty well for my size. So I feel like that'll tie in to some advantages as well.
Do you have any major leaguers you look at now that you like to model yourself after, or are you let you be you?
Yeah, so well, I've always thought about Corey Seager, because he's about the same height, same size, and I've always just modeled my game after him. He's always been the guy I've looked up to. So
pretty good one.
Yes, sir. I've always loved watching him. So doing the little hitters meeting, they compare. That's who my little comparison was with him. So it's pretty cool just to see all the similarities we have between us.
Well, Gunnar, man, thanks for taking so much time today. Enjoy your baseball field there in Alabama, and we can't wait till we're all back somewhere where we can be on the field watching Orioles at the majors and the minor league level. So thanks so much for joining me today.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.